Welcome back to the Just Living podcast. I'm here with Vincent. I don't know your last name, to be honest. Gim?
Vincent Gim.
Kim.
We're actually in a police interrogation room. Is the only place that would allow us.
We could.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Thank you for the Champaign Police Department for allowing us to videotape here. Shout out them.
True. That was a joke for legal reasons.
Yeah. It was
also, the mic's got to be like this close.
A little close.
Like
Okay.
Yeah. Not too close.
Like this is good.
That's
maybe
perfect.
a little closer.
Like this.
There you go.
That's right there. It's like 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So I met Mr. Vincent last year. He was a student teacher or assistant. Yeah. For my CAD and welding. Primarily, it was machining you were in for John. So, and I was like, dude, this guy's cocky.
Absolutely. I'm a fucking engineer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I met him today. I was like, basically, this guy's just Asian Elon Musk.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And we had
a
him
little too much credit.
write some fucking equations.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Can you explain of them? Any of them like really tinkle you the wrong way?
I think a lot of people are going to be accused by the EO equals MC squared.
Mm-hmm.
So the EO equals so this is supposed to be E naught. So that's just what's supposed to represent the energy of a particle at rest. Because when a particle is moving, there is a momentum component, and then you get into something called energy mass equivalence. That's what this equation is called, E equals MC squared. What energy mass equivalence is basically if you're moving, so if you're in a car that's going 60 miles an hour, and you're going in a car that's going 100 miles an hour, because the car going 100 miles an hour is actually faster, and mass directly translates into energy because of that equation, the car going 100 miles per hour is actually lighter by like an obscenely small amount. You can't even measure it, but it's there. This one, if you don't know this, you're a dumbass. This one is Bernoulli's. It's just conservation of energy and momentum. This is the Lorentz factor used for special relativity transformations. This is the stress for a bar that's enclosed in two walls, basically by thermal expansion. E is the elastic modulus, alpha is the thermal expansion coefficient, delta T is just change in temperature. This is a general stress equals elastic modulus or Young's modulus times strain. You see this a lot for like material curves that kind of look like this. So you have your little graph like this, and this is stress. Stress is just force over area. It's literally just pressure. And then strain is basically how much, strain is basically how much the material changes in comparison to its original length.
Are you left-handed?
No.
Okay, this is impressive.
Are you ambidextrous?
No.
So you're talented.
This is a miracle.
Yeah,
This is horrible. I fucking hate it. I've used this so much that I've memorized it, and I'm very sure that's right. If it's not, well, I fucking failed my class. This is how to convert a stress tensor into a strain tensor using nu and the elastic modulus. There are ways you could do it with Lemay constants. Those look worse. This is the easiest way, and that's the Kronecker delta, and then we just use initial notation to sum it up.
Yeah, all right. So
enough with the scientific questions.
For
Let's
real.
get into the important stuff. Can Asian people say the N-word?
I can neither confirm nor deny this.
Do you have an opinion on it?
Mm-hmm.
I think it just depends on the environment you're in and the people that you're around.
Okay.
I think that's for everyone.
Yeah.
That's like a across-the-board thing.
Yeah.
I've never said it before. Never, actually.
Not
I
once.
never plan on saying it.
It's not cool.
It's not. It's really
Unless you get the pass, and then
Context is important.
context is definitely
not. That is true. A
important.
lot of things are taken out of context. It's like
For real.
you can't trust anything these days. Like what you just told us. You seem smart. You seem confident.
You could be just telling
Could have
me.
just made it all
I can
up.
tell you a lot of things out of context. I remember I was in the spring semester in April. I went to a conference. It was the Goddard Space Science Symposium. It was in DC. It was a horrible 12-hour drive, but basically me and my buddies were in a hotel room because it was a 3-day conference. We just stayed at a local hotel by the event, and coincidentally, I was a TA, a grader for a material science course that my buddies were also in. So they started making this joke that, hey, I'm sleeping with my MSc TA. And that got to my professor, and he got a little confused.
Well, you know what they say about jokes? There's always a little bit of truth in them.
we didn't sleep in the sexual context. We just literally slept in the same room. I can assure that.
Okay.
I'm not
Good.
homosexual, at least not that I know of.
Thank you for clearing that up. We might have had to leave.
No, but it goes to show that context is important.
What'd you do in the DC trip?
Fucking drink an obscene amount of coffee, because good God.
I thought you were going to say alcohol.
Yeah.
No, I don't drink actually, so.
Good.
Because the fucking symposium day starts at like 7. It was awful. So we had to get up at like 5:30 and get ready and shit. Basically, it's just a bunch of like super experienced people in industry. The Goddard Space Symposium was about space science. So like the heliophysics, which is the physics of the sun, astrobiology, that's a thing.
Astrobiology, like the biology of asteroids?
Just space in general, because that ties into the OSIRIS-REx mission, which is basically if you guys might have heard about it, the OSIRIS-REx mission was basically we sent a spacecraft to a meteor to get a sample of that meteor and return it to Earth.
Well, isn't there like theories, or isn't it practical in the future that we can mine meteors for...
Because they have so much fucking... Like, there's some that are just gold and shit.
Yeah, I
they
mean...
have a bunch of valuable resources.
The actual technical planning is probably like an actual mess.
Yeah.
And logistically speaking, especially trying to expand that in the future might be...
I could see that. You're trying to jump on a rock that's going how fast? Unbelievably.
Pretty fucking fast.
Pretty too fucking fast.
What do you think space warfare would be like? Or do you think that's...
True, that's a good question.
No, it's one of my dumbass friends at that same symposium. I'm not going to disclose his name.
Yeah.
But there was a Space Force general, a 4-star general, being a guest speaker. Saying, like, these are our new programs for the Space Force. This is what our future looking like. Honestly, he had no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He looked clueless. He just threw on buzzwords and it's just like, we don't care. This is a space science symposium. Okay. So what, you want to put a missile in space? Fucking do it. I don't care. Just don't blow us up. But then one of my friends was like, what are your thoughts of geopolitical adversaries setting up space weaponry to defend their satellite and their spatial territory? And I fucking look at him like, dude, you are representing us at the U of I, and you asked this actual fucking moronic
What's
question.
What's wrong with that question? Who's to say that that's their space? Why isn't that our space? I think all space belongs to America.
This is a symposium with like directors of NASA and like CEOs of companies. I don't want to look like a fucking idiot in front of them. I'll be real. But I think it was funny, but it's just also kind of embarrassing because we were there as a club. I'm also part of a different club called Liquid Rocket, Illinois. And basically, he was with us. He was part of our team. And then he asked that question. We're like, wow, he's...
Making us look bad.
Now he set us an example to not ask those type of questions.
Did you get an answer, though?
No.
Really?
And in fact, the chair of the organization had to stop him from yammering from too much. It was... God bless his soul.
I was curious to how'd you get into the U of I? And where'd your curiosity for rockets and everything come from?
See, I'm like autistic for rockets, low key.
That's fair.
Like I'm be so real. If you're an engineer, you have to be on the spectrum in some way, shape, or form.
I think
that makes sense.
I think that's anybody.
That's fair as hell.
If you find a profession that you love and really want to do, you gotta be kind of artistic.
For sure,
absolutely.
yeah. You gotta be obsessed.
That's not just for rockets.
We're just using
everything.
autism as the word obsessed right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a euphemism.
Yeah.
So my dad, he's an alum from the U of I. Actually, he got his master's in mechanical engineering, and I don't know, he's old. And then basically, I used to live in a little suburb called Vernon Hills. I think it's like an hour south of Naperville.
Yeah.
It's close to Schaumburg too, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure. And then I moved down here in Champaign County, specifically local to the U of I in like 8th grade.
Okay.
Stayed here basically
right.
the time. And then senior year of high school, when I started applying to colleges, I just got fucked in the ass. I'll be so real. Because I did not try my junior and senior year.
Yeah.
That bit me in the ass. I think I had like a very not impressive 3.2 GPA.
Wow.
What'd you get on that? I bet you got a great SAT score though, or ACT score.
I barely got into the 99th percentile. Lowest score.
Barely got in the 99th.
Yeah.
No, because the threshold was a 1460. And that's what
you got.
And so I was like, I think my SAT scores will be enough to put me in the U of I. But it did not. I applied to other schools as well. They all either waitlisted me and then deferred me or rejected me. And same
You
with
got rejected from colleges?
Of course.
Oh, what chance do I got?
Yeah,
Well,
for
I
real.
mean, they were like
Were they like top? Were they like Harvard? And
Well, maybe not like Harvard, but
Just
they were pretty big.
higher
shot,
level.
Like Georgia
Yeah.
Tech, Caltech.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I said MIT because I thought it was funny, and I had an application waiver somehow, so I was just like, fuck it.
That sucks.
And then I applied to the U of I, and then I got it back. Funny enough, like literally on my birthday. I was like, oh, you've been waitlisted. I'm like, well, fuck. So, and they waitlisted me until June, late June.
Damn.
And so at that point, I was like, okay, just in case I don't get into the U of I, which is very possible with my very just okay GPA in comparison to like my other classmates, I decided to enroll in the Pathways program.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys heard about it. So basically, I was full-time at Parkland, and I was part-time at U of I, and it's such a good program. I'm going to be completely honest. If you ever go to a four-year university, well, first of all, I shouldn't say don't, but your first 2 years there are absolutely useless. Because you are learning just like basic.
It's like the
if
gen
you're
eds.
engineering, like gen eds, like
Yeah.
calculus, physics, chemistry, whatnot.
Just basic
And
shit.
do it at a community college because
Right.
it's so much cheaper.
Right.
And with those classes,
Do you think the education level is the same?
I think
You're getting
so,
taught
yeah.
the same information?
No, it's exactly the same. actually.
Okay.
Because what Parkland has to do is like collaborate with the U of I. It's like, hey, does our oh shit, my bad. Does our curriculum, our like syllabus for say like chemistry fit with your guys's
Right.
what you teach? Because we teach like orbitals, like organic chemistry, whatever, like electrochemistry, and they're like, okay, we also teach that. So it's suitable for students to transfer here after taking it at Parkland. So it's not just like, oh, because you took it here, it automatically transfers. Parkland and the U of I have to like collaborate on this. And Pathways is actually like a collaboration effort. For some reason, we don't have a Pathways program for Geese, for business. I don't know why the College of Geese just didn't want to collaborate, and that's fine. But I think we have one for LAS, Liberal Arts and Sciences.
That goes for law too, right? Laws are liberal art and science.
Maybe it might. It could have its own school. I don't think so. I think it does fall under liberal arts and sciences. I'll definitely double check up on that.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that the Geese College of Business does not have a Pathways program. I know there's like applied health sciences. I think there's also, I don't know. There's probably one for
But you
everyone.
highly suggest doing that.
Absolutely.
Right.
You save so much money because
Yeah.
I think my tuition right now, being a full-time student at the U of I, is around, before financial aid, around $15,000 a semester, which is not cheap. 10,000, maybe 15,000, I can't remember, but granted,
I would have expected to be a lot more.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is I'm in state, so that helps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And I get a lot of.
So your dad graduated here.
Yeah.
Does that give you any
No.
not
Really?
fucking blows?
The only thing that it might help you with is like admission, really.
Just
If you have a family member,
put your name higher.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
However, if you have a family member here that's like faculty of the U of I,
Oh yeah.
That
You're-
helps.
You're taken
It's
care
a-
of.
yeah, no, because
Yeah.
that's automatically half your tuition is halved instantly.
Big.
And the U of I also has a program called Illinois Commitment, where if you make below $74,000 a year, your family, you can be admitted to the U of I for a full ride.
Really?
Not a penny comes out of your pocket.
Wow.
Only thing is like maybe like your own food or whatever, but
You just
housing, tuition, books.
Is that for all colleges in Illinois, or is that just a U of I thing?
This is just a U of I thing.
Okay.
That's pretty
It
sweet.
could be across the other U of I colleges, like in Springfield and Chicago, but I know for the one in Urbana-Champaign, they do it.
Okay.
In fact, they actually raised it. It was originally 67,000. Now they raised it to 74,000, which is great.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no.
That helps out a lot.
Yeah, no. Back to the Pathways program. I think I spent around every semester. I spent around $2,500 a semester for school, being full time at Parkland and the U of I. I spent around $2,000 at Parkland because I was full time, of course, so it's pretty reasonable. And I spent usually $500 and sometimes $1,000 depending on the number of classes I take at the U of I. But comparison to $15,000 a semester,
that's
you're saving an incredible amount of money.
That is a big deal.
You know anything about SIUE? Because that's why I looked into going.
I'll be so real. I haven't really researched into other colleges.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't blame you. I was curious because like I'm in college now and it's been easy, but when you get overloaded, as I'm sure you do, how do you kind of manage that.
You jerk off a lot?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, absolutely. I beat my shit every night.
That's the only thing keeping you going.
Sometimes even multiple times a night.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're overloaded, it varies person to person.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all comes to the trial. Wow, it comes down to trial and error. And the thing that works best to me is I will physically sit down and stay there for 10 minutes and plan out my day. Okay, what do I need to get done now, right?
That's good.
Because right now I actually have 3 assignments due at midnight, but it's going to be fine.
Shit's whatever.
I sit there and I tell myself, okay, realistically, how much time am I going to need for this assignment? What do I have to do later in the day? Okay, are there any deadlines I have to really push for? You really trying to structure your day gives you a lot of peace of mind.
So organization.
Do you do
Absolutely.
time blocking?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to studying. Time blocking is so crucial for studying because you always think like, oh, the night before I'll just cram for 4 hours.
Right.
That never works.
No,
Yeah,
that
no.
never
Yeah,
works. That
you're
never
lying
works.
to yourself.
Me personally,
every
the
time.
best way I've done it is 30 minutes, 5-minute break, 45 minutes, another 5-minute break, another 45 minutes, and a 10-minute break.
How do you resist yourself from that 5-minute break becoming longer?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that is a question because social media, you get on your phone, it's like you're gone. That 5 minutes turned into an hour.
yeah, I mean, so what I would do is, sorry, I got a text.
Proof. This is proof right here. Your phone's fucked.
So it's really just comes down to discipline, right?
Yeah, for
How
sure.
I tell myself is almost kind of like in a negative way. It's like, okay, if I get on my phone for more than 5 minutes and I brain rot away my day, I'm not going to get anything done.
Yeah.
I tell myself during that time, I could have put in an application for an internship. During that time, I could have done more research. During that time, I could have read a book,
Yeah.
right? Because you look back and you're like, wow, I spent like 4 hours of my day just on my phone.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing is when you're scrolling or on Instagram or on TikTok? You will like stop and think, you're like, I can't even remember the last 5 reels I watched.
Yeah, that's bad.
And those were like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. That dopamine.
I find that reading books really helps out with that
Does it?
because it forces you to focus.
Well, it's hard, but what's hard about that is with the TikTok, it's such instant dopamine.
Exactly.
It's
Instant
so
gratification,
easy.
But when it's a book, so our brain instantly gets attached to that instant dopamine and wants that
Yeah.
on a snap every single time. And when you're reading a book, it's a slow, steady uprising.
Exactly. You
That's
basically
why
have to retrain yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
really
do.
do.
You really do.
It's like I'm reading a book that I have no idea what the fuck it's talking about, but it's working.
There you go. Yeah, you just got to find little things to. And the discipline, you're right. Discipline's huge. If you don't have good discipline,
You, especially if you don't have good discipline in engineering, you will fall behind extremely.
I bet.
quick.
Yeah.
It's like your first 2 years, you might be able to get away with things because it's a little more laid back. You got gen eds that you don't really have to pour all your time and energy on. For
Right.
me right now, everything is technical. Everything is I'm learning will and can be used in industry.
that's cool.
That's cool. I think that makes it easier to learn, though.
For
When
sure.
you feel like it's useful.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is that incentive that you have to learn it, but the material itself is very difficult.
Right.
Because from what I've heard, junior year is actually your hardest year instead of senior year, right? Because you have that shock coming from sophomore. It's like, oh, everything was easy, right? Just like
Mhm.
I've seen this in high school, or like I've done this one. You come into junior year, everything is essentially new. It shocks you, and it forces you to basically adapt to like, okay, I'm getting piled and piled and piled on these assignments. Like I need to do research. I have my own clubs to deal with. I have a job. It really forces you to like, okay, is this really something I want to endure for the next 2 years
Yeah.
that I want to do? Because like, it's fine if it's not.
Right.
There's no shame in like, okay, this isn't it for me. I was 2 years in, and you just realize maybe a little too late that it's not for you. That's okay. I've known a couple people that have done that, and
Have you had any struggles like that where you're like, this, you just have, not even like, it's just like a day you're like, I think I
absolutely.
want to change.
oh, fucking dude, I sit down so many days like, damn.
He's like every day.
Yeah.
Oh, literally every fucking day. I sit down and I tell myself like, damn, I should have just been a fucking machinist. No, but like, yeah, no, there are times where like, especially if like you're a person that like, I have this awful habit of comparing myself to others.
No, yeah.
because
Same.
Everyone does.
Everyone does.
I'm like, and I look at myself because one of my friends, incredibly smart, the smartest person I know, ever.
Mhm.
He's a genius. Like he's the same as my age. He can finish a PhD in 2 years. He's got a startup going.
Wait.
like
What did you just say?
A peach tree?
A peach tree?
PhD.
Oh, okay. I was like,
that
that adds up.
magic plant grower.
In 2 years?
He can, because he has so much research.
Damn.
So if he basically continues on that research into a PhD, he can, bam.
But you
Right,
know what?
just be in.
Comparison is the theft of happiness.
Exactly, and
Really is.
that's why you gotta like have to value yourself and see yourself. Okay, like exactly what do I have that makes me stand out, right? And you really just have to value yourself. It really gets you into your head, and especially in engineering with like the very competitive job market. Like, what am I doing here? Like, I feel worthless against
For sure.
other competitors, right?
Oh, it's,
I've had several
what's it called?
nights. Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so prevalent in
Yeah.
all of Granger engineering, in all engineers really, because you sit down and look at this guy. Wow, this guy's super successful. He just got a patent, or like he invented something new.
Right.
And you're sitting there like, what the fuck am I doing? Right?
Yeah.
But like, I've always been told just like always stick through with it no matter what. Even it's gonna be like you come out with like a D in the class. Fuck it, just retake it. Just come out through with it, right? It's gonna be worth it in the end. And just really trying to develop your mental fortitude in engineering is a must. It's not just like, oh, I'll just kind of thug it out and just go with it, right? It only works so many times, right?
Right.
There have been so many times I've legitimately like sat down and had to like break down my mental structure and rebuild it from the ground up, essentially, to rebuild that and basically get a stronger foundation.
Sure, they're just having like a mental breakdown.
Essentially.
Yeah.
That's
That's
But
pretty
every
nuts.
time, I'm sure you come back stronger.
Right.
No, exactly.
Or come back
I
better.
always tell people that are in situations like this, I want you to completely lose yourself, absolutely, but I want you to come back.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I want them to completely get rid of the old mental structure they have and become something new. Right?
The light at the
You don't
end of the
wanna
tunnel is worth going through the darkness.
And you don't want to stay comfortable. You can't stay
No,
comfortable.
absolutely not. You have to do it scared. You
Yep.
have to do it while you're like upset.
Mhm.
There's nothing that's gonna force you to. Well, how do I say this? Nothing. No one's gonna tell you have to do this. You have to force yourself for your own benefit.
For real.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, there's this one quote I heard from probably from fucking Confucius or some shit. Like
Some Asian guy.
You were made to go through this moment that is the burning hellfire just to maybe come out as gold, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is your test from basically God or something. I'm not religious, but I don't know. I feel like it's something that people can relate with. Okay.
Why are you not?
I'm going to back off on that because that could be a little touchy. Just
Okay.
You are challenged by life and you're forced
Yes.
to adapt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I'm curious though,
what's up?
because we can go into religion.
Do you think it's
I'm awful
possible?
with that.
I think it's possible. It's a
You
simulation.
just don't. It's just not something in your life. You don't care.
No.
That's
and,
fair.
And plus, it's something that I'm not knowledgeable
Well-
enough to make a statement in.
I think a lot of people they need it to they
I
need hope. They need something
exactly.
bigger than
I
that.
think it's great that
Yeah,
if it feels
for
like
sure.
that it gives them a greater purpose
For sure.
and something to fall back to. Like, I've seen so many people like rely on faith as their like mental like catch net, and
Yeah.
it works beautifully. It's great. Like,
Yeah,
good
you
for
just
them.
gotta find what works. That's
exactly
really all it is.
right. And it all comes down to like whoever the person is. It's just personal beliefs.
That's where religion gets wacky for me. It's like, dude, just figure out what works best for you to be your best self.
Yeah.
And then like people fight about that. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot
dude,
of
my
wars
way's
about
better.
religion.
My way is
That's what
better.
most wars are about.
Religion.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It-
is.
yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
sad, really.
For me, I'm a very rational thinking person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally a walking stereotype of an Asian. You give me a math problem, I'll go bonkers. Right?
You would
I don't
drive-
care if you give me money. If you give me like 17 prostitutes, I don't care if you give me a house. Give me a math problem, I'll go crazy.
That's pretty cool. Cause I suck at math. I'm so bad at math.
Yeah, no, like, here's the thing. I wasn't really like, because there's that notion of like, Asian kids and their parents like, you have to do math, you have to be good at this, you have to be a doctor. I was really fortunate enough that my parents really didn't coerce me into that.
That's
In
nice.
fact, like, I really enjoyed math just from the get-go. I just loved it.
That is so awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, like, it's great, and my parents like really supported me on that, and they told me like, hey, you should be a doctor. I mean, fuck, my mom once told me you should be an Air Force fighter pilot. I'm like, okay.
Really? You
But
want
yeah,
me to?
no, but I mean, seeing I was like, I really like math, I like physics, I was like, I'll do engineering because my father also did engineering at some
Right.
point, so might as well follow his steps.
That's it. That's life right there. Just find something you like and chase it.
Absolutely.
Find something you like and become the best you can be at that thing.
That's Japanese people, but it's so funny. Like, this is a tangent, but
Whoa. Let's get it. How different are? I don't want to.
That's a good question.
But how different are the Asian countries from one another?
oh, it's it's
Like the
Because
culture.
I'll be honest, if I got a Japanese man in a room and I got a Chinese man in a room, I'm not telling them apart.
Yeah. Are you asking how I differentiate them, or how we like interact with each other?
You can both. You can answer
Oh,
over
yeah. For me, it's kind of weird how I differentiate. Okay, so let's make the setting that it's on campus, right? How do I tell if a student on campus is Chinese, Japanese, or Korean? If it's Korean, I just know by look. I've been surrounded by so many Korean people, especially, I live with a Korean family, believe it or not. It comes down to me. When it comes to Japanese people, a lot of it comes down to the three identifying features that I see is eyes, nose, and facial structure.
Anime sweatshirt.
Not really. Japanese people dress very nicely on campus. They're very well dressed. Same with Koreans. Chinese people, on the other hand.
Slobs.
No.
I'm kidding.
Chinese people, they wear like almost like a kind of like street
Just
style
casual?
clothing. Yes, casual too. Some of them, they come from very rich backgrounds and they kind of like ball out like Louis Vuitton, Gucci.
Like rice gum.
That's so goofy for you to say that.
I don't care about any like slightly racist comments you make. I've heard it all, and you have to.
He was like, "How far can we push it?" And I was like,
There is no limit.
"Exactly, yeah."
And John knows this.
Yeah, I know, because you
In
guys.
fact, he was the one that first tested me. Anyways, yeah, but in terms of there's the random shotgun shot I had from shooting. In terms of like geopolitical like relations and like diplomatic, we're not the greatest. Right? We try.
Japan and South Korea are pretty good, right?
It's better now. Historically speaking, the relations have not been great, right? We try to push for diplomatic peace and international cooperation and such, but the world is how it is.
I
It's
think
not
every
perfect.
country has its own best interests in its
Exactly.
For sure.
ideals. Like,
Well, that you have to.
yeah, full on
to survive.
full on world nationality or peace is never ever going to work.
Absolutely.
Because every country has to be selfish to succeed.
Mhm.
Exactly. I mean, there's always that saying like you can't please everyone. So.
No. Can't please most.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, like politically speaking, like it's getting better.
Is it?
Yeah, I'd say every day it's getting better, except with North Korea, because
That's always going to be a rough one, I think, because they're so.
I mean,
isolated.
it's gotten worse in the past year.
Yeah.
I heard
way
actually
worse.
that North Korean soldiers got instantly addicted to porn.
Yeah, I saw that.
As soon as they went to Russia, instantly addicted to porn.
Have you also seen
Instantly.
they brought what is fucking
Contraband?
No. Like contraband.
I don't fucking
They
know.
brought some people.
No,
back.
Elon Musk's Satellite Wi-Fi. What's it called?
Starlink.
Starlink. Okay, well,
Ah.
they went to the Amazon with that, and they gave tribes Starlink, and then just all the young
Instantly
they got
addicted to
all
porn.
addicted to the internet,
Yeah.
and like the people the leaders are like, we don't need this because no one wants to do anything anymore. No one wants to. They're all just addicted to the Wi-Fi or to
That's so
their phones
evil.
and shit.
So
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It shows how addictive
It's nothing
it
but an
is.
algorithm to keep you on.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? It's
It definitely
it's so
is.
useful too.
Yeah,
the most
for
useful
sure.
thing ever.
It is.
It really comes down to the hands of the user, really.
I am curious. Speaking of the hands of the user, what do you think of AI?
So that's a very, especially in academia, it's a very not touchy subject, but it's a very relevant subject, right?
Very, yeah.
So the use of AI in the context of, hey, can you look over my Python code, see if there's anything I can fix?
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, does this letter I'm going to send to a professor sound good? Are there any grammatical errors? Or like, hey, can you give me like a brief outline of like a cover letter I should send to a company?
Yeah.
I think that's okay, right? If you need to use AI for like homework help, it's like, hey, I understand this and this, but can you explain the
If
concept
you use it
of-
to give you ideas and help you work
I
through
think-
something,
Stay
but
there.
if you're using
Yeah.
it to like write
I
an
think
entire
using
essay,
AI to initiate ideas is
It's
fine.
cool. Yeah.
But having AI take over the entire pipeline of whatever process.
right?
you're
Well,
doing, I
the
don't
thing
think
is
it's-
that it gets weird is when you start to use it for ideas and then you become
You know what I fear?
reliant on it.
Yes. And that's the thing too. Like,
But that also comes back to discipline. Like, you just got to, know where the line is.
Because I see something like ChatGPT as a tool.
Yeah, for sure.
I never use it to like, hey, can you like just make me an email for this person? Like, no, I would ask for like, how would I correctly format it so it's in a professional setting, a business casual setting, that kind of stuff, right? AI is a tool. It's not something that you must depend on for your task.
It's also not always right.
No, absolutely.
Because I've run into a lot of times where it's completely wrong.
No, I sometimes I would say fuck it, and I just plug in like a homework problem, and I put it in, and it's like, wow, this is AI is a fucking moron.
Yeah, right.
I literally have to tell it, the conditions are this.
Yeah,
follow them. And they're
You're
like,
treating it like a slave, dude. You just gotta like whip it every time.
You have to tell it everything.
It's fucking stupid.
You have to give it all the little details to get it right.
My big fear about that is, though, one day we're gonna push it so far that it gets conscious and it's gonna realize that the biggest threat to AI is humans. And then once it realizes that, it's just gonna kill all humans.
I don't think it's gonna, because why would it kill? Like, where's the power from? Unless we can.
The way I view it is, so AI is gonna gain consciousness, right? And it's gonna realize that the only thing that has similar power to it is humans. The AI is gonna realize that once it gets this consciousness and gets this life, the only thing that's gonna be able to take that away is humans. So imagine if like a race of monkeys came in and was able to just completely destroy us in every facet. We would instantly wipe out those monkeys. I feel that AI is going to see us in that same way, and as soon as they realize that humans are the biggest threat to it, it's going to completely wipe us out.
I guess I could see that, because it wants full control and we want full control.
No, it's just that's just preservation of life.
It's true,
that,
but
humans
what
will be the only
I don't think it
that
will
can disturb its preservation of life.
I don't think
humans will be AI's only threat, and it's
that's
the biggest threat.
If they can generate power and can
they're going to
work. That's if we get robots, basically.
Humans are never satisfied. They're always going to want to push it to this next thing, get it even smarter, get it even better, make it even more human-like. And so it's going to gain full consciousness and it's going to wipe us all out. And that's how we're going to go extinct.
What do you think about that? Smart guy.
I think no matter what, we'll
eventually end up killing ourselves, most likely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Do you think it's going to be nukes? Do you think there's going to be
I think there is. I see a nuclear arsenal as more of a political tool.
Yeah,
right?
like a deterrent.
Exactly.
It's definitely, hey, I've got this.
It's the same thing as the reason why militaries exist. It's just a deterrent, right?
Just like, who's got the bigger dick?
It's a necessary evil. So I think everybody, including the crazy-ass leaders, like, the absolute destruction of power.
Kim Jong-un.
Well, he's a fucking brickhead and he's built like one. I'm telling you, he looks like a fucking squashed almond.
We're making enemies on the podcast.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, fuck you, Kim Jong-un.
Dude, Kim Jong-un has a global bounty on his head.
True.
He's got a good-looking sister, though.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
She's nuts, isn't she?
Going back on the AI thing, I mean, it's too early to tell, right? I think no matter what, we will always want to have control, and I think we will basically almost always have it under control, right? With technology especially, yes, it can get distributed amongst other nations that maybe we don't want to share. I still think the ultimate like instinct in our brains is like,
I'm gonna disagree with that, because even when AI was super primitive, they had 2 like AI Facebook bots.
Yeah,
so this was when AI was super primitive. They put them in a Facebook chat room, and within seconds, the AI was creating a language that humans to this day cannot decipher. To this day, we have no idea what they were talking about. This happened years ago.
So that also kind of goes into like, for the sake of science, right? Mm-hmm. We humans are fucking insane and disgusting.
I think humans like to play God.
We definitely
do. Humans like to play God.
And that's where ethics of AI and science come in, right? Mm-hmm. And when it comes to some like research, like I'm all for research for like, hey, what if we put this new satellite up there? But like other research that says using human brain organelles as a functional computer, that's a little pushing it, right? It's a little almost like dystopian in a sense.
Seriously is.
It is pretty scary, but I think we all hunger for knowledge, hence why this drive is still there, and by any means possible that we will achieve it. Mm-hmm. But back to the 2 AIs in the chatbot room, right? I think because I'm not a computer science major, and I'm not very well versed in this, but like I think they're primarily AIs. I think it's called a large language model, an LLM, right? and it has a neural network such that it can learn and adapt to whatever its purpose is, right? You tell AI you have this purpose, you take these inputs, then you spit this out.
But what happens if AI doesn't like that purpose and wants to find a new one?
At that point, from a very technical standpoint,
is it able to do that?
As of now, no. Because we hard coded saying like, this is an input, this is your output, this is your job.
Yeah. But once it can code itself,
once it can give itself its own input, that's when we're fucked.
The consciousness.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing. But I think the biggest scare right now is who gets the control over it first. Who gets
Elon.
the fastest, the best AI first. It's like the space race with the AI race right now. That's what is going on.
Ooh, do you think
because like China's trying to get the best, we're trying to get the best. Every country's trying to get the best.
Do you think the moon landing was fake or real?
It's real.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Have you seen how big the fucking Saturn V is? You think we got nowhere with that?
I think we had very many good motives to fake it. I think we had nothing but good motives to fake it. And I think we had no motives to actually do it.
We sent a fucking monkey in space to die.
Yeah, so what? Why?
Well, that's just fun.
You know who did that first, though? You know who was absolutely destroying us in the space race?
Who?
Russia.
Soviet
at the time,
Union.
USSR. At the time,
Yep.
they were demolishing us in all technology.
I think they were during the Cold War era. Yes, I think they were ahead in the technological aspect, but we were ahead in the militaristic aspect. Oh, sorry.
No, you can join us.
Sorry, Peter. That's our space.
No, I just think we had motives to fake it because we wanted to look more powerful than the USSR. We wanted to make it look like we won up.
Yeah.
Because we were constantly getting one up to by them. They sent the first satellite out there. They sent the first animal up there. They had all the first. And we're like, yeah, well, we sent the first moon. We sent the first person to the moon, fuckers.
It's just two fucking big ass grown babies going against each other.
Yeah, seriously, just a bunch of monkeys.
I mean. And I don't think the moon landing was fake because the Artemis program now wants to not only send humans back to the moon, but we want to actually have like a long-term presence on it.
I guess the thing will be when it's like, if we can pull it off pretty easily, then it'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Then the moon
it's a
landing
proof of concept.
Right.
Think 9/11 could be an inside job?
Okay,
Dude.
we're not going to touch on that.
This guy loves 9/11.
I love 9/11 inside job. Dude.
I'm more curious on.
We are in an academic building, might I remind you.
True. We're in a room.
Then we know that common office fires can't melt stainless steel support beams.
I would say it was more than a common
Not
office
World
fire.
Trade Center Building 7. That's what the official CIA document stated as common office fire.
How'd they know? Were they up there?
That's what the report was.
They're like, okay, let's send this. Let's write this down immediately and send it.
No, it wasn't immediate. They did it years
I
after.
don't know. Trump thought it was not okay.
It was a tragedy.
You know what's crazy? We got to talk about the election because it just happened.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if you don't want to talk about this, but we're talking about it.
No, we can't do that to our guest. What do you want to talk about, Science Rocket Man?
We're actually supposed to be interviewing him. So
I don't give a fuck.
Well, I think it's a big deal right now.
Okay, here, this might be a touchy subject, but is it true that Asian people stereotypically have smaller penises?
I don't know. I haven't looked at another Asian man's dick.
Well, actually, did you know that the Chinese inch is bigger than the U.S. inch?
Really?
So it could just be that their measuring system's bigger than ours.
Are you sure it's not their shitty eyesight?
We didn't make that joke, by the way. That was not us. Yeah. Well, Nolan would be okay with making that joke. Yeah, I'm not willing to.
That's fine. We
gotta make a good. This was supposed to be like a serious interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was supposed to.
It had its moment, but it was good.
No, it's good. I'm just saying. Because we.
What do you think the next big advance in space technology is, or rocket technology?
That's a great question.
When do you think the next moon landing is going to happen, where it's just that generational?
The next moon landing will happen in Artemis.
Not like the next moon landing, but like the next technological advance. That's so like the next big thing.
Yeah.
The next big step would be to have it so that commercial launch is readily available to the public, right?
That would be
so
huge.
there is a program, I think it's called Luna 10, and its outline is like, okay, we will have a little almost like space station in space, and we will send humans from Earth into that space station, and from that space station we can send you to Mars, the moon, whatever, right? It serves as like a middleman in space, and that is a key point in order to establish that long-term presence on any celestial body, as a matter of fact.
Stop. basically.
Yes.
A truck stop in space.
Because it's
like Futurama.
It's economically not viable to like constantly send a rocket there to the moon,
Right.
send a rocket back. So you might as well have a station in the middle, right?
Well, isn't what Elon did kind of like a step towards that? Because now
Yes, because
Elon
what he
rockets.
wants to do with Starship, I think the primary. I could be wrong on this because I don't really follow Elon that much.
You don't talk to Elon?
No.
Oh.
I think he wants the Starship to serve as like a refueling rocket because it is very big. If
And
not,
supplies and stuff.
and I think it can house like a lot of people. So I think it'll be like the very first rocket to like go out there and like establish, and then from there it's like logistical help.
Think we'll colonize Mars soon?
Colonize Mars
Within our
Or
lifetime?
put people on Mars at least.
our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when we're like 60 or
Well,
70.
I think AI is gonna help out a lot with
Yeah,
things like
probably.
that.
Yeah.
Because being able to do all those calculations really quickly. Do you know anything about? I've been kind of curious with it. The supercomputers.
the UVI built the first one here.
Yeah, I know that's pretty fucking crazy.
So there's been this whole craze with quantum computers.
Quantum. That was the word I was looking for. I'm not smart enough to remember.
Quantum computers are exponentially faster than regular computers, right? 'Cause-
Yeah, can you explain a quantum computer? Because most people don't
sure,
really.
I can.
Whiteboard time.
Whiteboard time.
Fuck. All right.
Here,
We're
let me
almost
erase
as-
the mumbo jumbo.
There you go. So
Get
with
mumbo
standard
jumbo.
computers, they're defined by something called a bit, right? And you might have heard of that before. It's literally a 0 or a 1, right? That is a bit. It's either a 0 or a 1. Can't be in between. And you know how a computer like binary, for example, is like 1 0 1 0 0 1 1. I probably accidentally spelled it like a slur or something. I don't mean anything. I don't know binary. So with computers, right? Say you're having a computer go break through a password. Say it's like the password is 9999, right? And the computer starts from 0 0
So it
1.
runs through all the numbers.
Exactly. It's iterative. It tries an input, sees the output, and it reacts based off of that. If it's incorrect, it goes on to the next one. And it's incredibly slow. I mean, God bless modern technology today because we've gone like way faster processes and such. But with a quantum computer, they use something called a qubit. So a qubit is literally just a bit with the quantum, the QA and quantum just stuck on top of it because we're lazy humans.
Right.
A qubit is in something called a superposition. So it's in an area between 0 and 1 at all times. It's in every position possible at all
Oh,
times.
that makes so much sense.
And then there's this something called observer theory, right? When I look at it, when I look away, it's in its like weird in between state. I look at it, bam, it's either a 0 or a 1, guaranteed.
So is it like the same thing as like if I look away, this desk could not be real or it could have moved?
That is the
What's-
Schrodinger's cat.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that is so. I love that.
I don't know if this is exactly your field of expertise, but there's something with like light molecules passing through a certain like.
Two-slit diffraction experiment.
Yeah, sure. What's up with that? When you look away, they start going crazy, right?
So there's a misconception that the two-slit diffraction, not theory, but like test,
Experiment.
is to prove that light is a particle and a wave. That's already been proven so many times, like it's whatever not, right? So the two-slit diffraction experiment, so let's say I have a light source right here, and I have a wall with 2 slits in it. These are my 2 slits, right? When I don't look at it, so I'll draw like a little eyeball here. When I don't look at it, right? What theoretically, the particle acts as like the light source acts as like a particle, meaning like, you know, if I spray water through a tiny hole, what do you expect on the other side? Just like a smidge of water,
Yeah.
right? Not like all the way across, right? So it literally look like this, right? Just a bunch of light particles around here. And what it would look like on your end would be like, you know, a bunch of particles kind of like in this area, that's the first slit, and a bunch of particles in like this area, right? That's when you don't look at it. When I do look at it, this can go away. So here's the light source again. Here is our 2 slits right here. When I do look at it, now all of a sudden, the thing on the wall is the result of light acting as a wave. And you might have seen this before in like a little YouTube video or like in your science class. But what you're going to see on the wall is these bands of light. And there's going to be dark spots in between these lines, right? So the bright spots is where a phenomenon called constructive interference is happening. This is when two waves, it doesn't have to be light waves, two waves in general basically come together and like strengthen each other. The dark areas...
is that kind of like multiplying?
It's just additive.
Okay.
Right. The dark areas between the slits are areas of destructive interference, meaning that the light waves basically cancel each other out. Right? They're like opposite forces and they basically kill each other. And this is when we do look at it. Right? And the two-slit experiment says that the two-slit diffraction experiment will look like this if you weren't looking at it. But it actually looks like this when you look at it. So this proves something called observer theory, which is a key fundamental thing in quantum mechanics. Because quantum mechanics is all about superposition, right? It's in neither state, but it's always in the, it's like everywhere in between, right?
Right.
But when you look at it, it chooses a state. It's basically like shy, right?
So does our real-time view of it change it in a way?
Yes.
How? That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, that is.
Exactly. That's the confusing part about quantum. It's hard to wrap your head around.
It is. So our real time watching it happen changes the.
So say you look at it from a different angle, it'll be different?
No.
It'll be the same as...
It's the fact if you look at it.
It's the fact that you're looking at it. So it's like...
Doesn't matter where, how.
When you're looking at it, your brain perceives it how this. No, when you're not looking at it, this is how your brain perceives it. But when
that's not how your brain perceives it, but that's how it will act at that particle, that behavior.
And how do they prove that?
They looked at it and they didn't
fucking
look at it.
Crazy shit that I don't know. But observer theory is a real thing. And that
I want to get to the bottom of this because I can't quite wrap my head around this, and that really bugs me. Really bugs me. So when you're not looking at it, that's the result that you should see. This is okay. So when you're not looking at it, then you look at it. This is what your eyes see. This is what's being processed through your brain. And when you do look at it,
there is no processing time of your brain. Basically, like...
Well, I'm talking about like after the experiment's over, you look at the wall. That's how your brain sees it. That's how your brain is processing it. But when you are looking at it real time, this is how your brain is processing.
I think this experiment has to happen real time. There's no...
Yes.
There's no you look at it after it happens.
Well, no, you have to look at it after this happens on this because you can't look at it. That's the point.
The reason why this behavior exists is because we prove that light is not only a particle, but it is also a wave.
Why is it a particle when you don't look at it and a wave when you do look at it? That's the part I'm confused on.
That's quantum for you. I wouldn't know either.
Yeah, can you send us to someone who knows more about this? I'm curious.
That's crazy.
Because honestly...
Talk to
what?
Shut up.
I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm not going to write his name on the board, but there is a Parkland professor who actually teaches something called real physics, modern physics. He would know more about this. His name is Jeremy Jang.
Okay. Think he'd be open to a little interview?
Because
he's a very busy guy, but I think you maybe have like a little quick coffee chat with you.
Okay.
That's his name.
Got
Jeremy
it.
Jang, sorry.
Okay, yeah, because
I feel like it has something to do with how the brain is processing in real time versus how it processes
Dr. Robert Chamberlain, also at Parkland, would also know more about this as well.
Cool.
Most of the physics faculty will probably know.
Okay.
I'll go to those people.
It confuses me, It's cool to learn stuff like that.
It is wild. Yeah. I'm curious because going back to the quantum computers, I don't know if you've seen, but they're saying that you can make a different universe, and well, that's basically what running all those numbers are, right? It's a different universe because all the numbers are processed like all the time.
Yeah.
So what they were saying is like it makes wormholes with the qubits. It's a qubit wormhole, and it's a parallel universe, basically.
Yeah, that's what I call when you get into the fuck shit of quantum physics. That's why I'm not specializing in it.
Right. Yeah.
But you still know some of it.
Yeah,
so that's legit. That's what I think the world is. I think so. When like scientists will describe the brain, the best way they can describe it is they call it a supercomputer. They say it runs like a supercomputer with such power that we can't quite comprehend it yet.
But it is still a traditional computer. It's not a quantum computer by any means.
I know, but what I think of that is I think that all our brains are just little gadgets that are hooked up to a mega
He's on
supercomputer, hooked up to some civilization technologically
simulation
ages
theory
ahead of us, and they're able to run a simulation so high advanced that that's what we are. And I think we do the same things. I think what they have, we have in just The Sims. We do the same exact type of simulations. We just don't have the technology to really
Prove it.
expand it in such a way. We have shitty simulations such as The Sims where they're not really people. You can obviously tell that they're robotic. You can obviously tell that they're code and not real humans.
They're CPU.
I honestly think that we're all just code. We don't quite know it.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
We just have no way to prove it.
Right.
Never will.
We could.
I think stuff like this.
I don't know.
Like hints
Elon Musk.
What's the thing where you turn on the Wizard of Oz, and then at the second lion roar, you turn on what's the
Pink Floyd song? Yeah.
Yeah, no, a whole
Album,
and
right.
It synchronizes perfectly.
But they had to do that.
They deny it. They say they don't. They say it has no correlation with each other. That complete coincidence.
I don't know. Elon Musk says like it's like a huge percentage that there's a massive percentage that this is a simulation.
It's very possible.
So
Who
I don't
knows?
know.
Who cares?
Yeah. What does it really matter?
Seriously.
Life's just life.
What other?
We're just living.
Ooh, you know the Boltzmann brain theory?
Boltzmann ring theory? I know the Boltzmann constant.
What's the? Oh, I don't know the Boltzmann.
It's K equals some fuck ass number.
But the Boltzmann brain theory is just that the likelihood of a whole universe being made is less likely than just a brain getting popped out of nowhere, and everyone's life is just the brain stops, and it's just floating out in some vacuum. They're all just some brain, some Boltzmann brain.
Could be. I don't know.
Who does know?
I don't know.
What do you think though? Nobody knows. But what do you think?
Yeah. What's your opinion? And that's the whole point of this. What we want to know your opinion on things.
Let's see.
Also,
so you said it is more likely for an entire universe to be made rather than
it's more likely that a single brain is made than a whole entire universe, and the whole entire universe is just perceived in the one's brain. That's what some random guy with the last name Boltzmann came up with.
I see. That's a tough question, I'll admit.
yeah, because it doesn't really make sense.
Or just
I mean, no, it makes sense. It's just we can't process it.
It's hard to perceive.
Yeah.
It is hard. It's super hard.
It's just like I
It's
don't
hard
know.
it's almost hard to visualize. It's almost hard.
It
for
is.
Humans, it's hard for humans to understand something they can't fully visualize.
Yeah.
And materialize. You can't materialize that.
Yeah.
You can't materialize that we're just some floating brain out in space, and all we are is just thought.
Right.
I think it's the idea of a universe being more likely than like a brain forming, right?
Could you turn around, please, Vincent?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I was just staring.
If you're using, I know that was fine.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. But
No worries.
yeah, I mean the brain is incredibly complex. Like we
Yeah.
just recently,
We don't even really get it.
recently mapped a fly's brain.
That's
Right.
A fly's brain?
It's fucking tiny.
Yeah, hella small.
And our brain is what, like exponentially way bigger.
Definitely bigger.
Exactly. So like it's
Except if you
It's
vote
an-
for Kamala. Sorry. Sorry.
We're
but
joking.
It really is an exceptional thing, and there's nothing else in nature, or rather in the universe, that comes close to the complexity.
Speaking of that, what do you? I don't know. This is not your field, but you're smart. So,
Hella smart.
Sure, go for it.
Consciousness. What the
Ooh.
fuck is it? What?
Well,
The fact that you're asking that question is a great point that you do have consciousness.
Right.
I don't remember who came up with that theory.
I don't know either, but
Some guy did.
because
speaking from a very rational and very like engineer standpoint, it's just a unique sequence of synapses firing in your brain. Everyone is unique because there is no other combination of neurons firing in your head.
Okay.
So-
Everyone has different, almost like a differently functioning.
well, that's like the thing. Like we label colors, but everyone might perceive colors differently. Like you could look at the wall and be like, that. It might look red to you.
That's
You
the
might have to look closer. Though.
simply put. That's just simple deviation in human evolution and nature, right? Because I could be colorblind,
Right.
and you might not be, and that's just just genetics of that.
Because we don't know.
Exactly.
We can't look through other people's eyes.
Mhm.
I don't know. This is a super far off topic,
Mhm.
but psychedelics. I don't know if you even.
You love your psychedelics.
Dude, it's so interesting.
You love
It's
your psychedelics.
the consciousness stuff with psychedelics is wild to me. I don't know. Basically, like it people think, and of course we don't know, but a theory is that you go to a different form of consciousness as you go to. It's almost a different universe, but it's just
I would say it's your brain unlocking new functions.
You're still in the same body. You're still in the same place, but you're seeing a different.
Yeah. No, your brain goes somewhere else. The physical body's still here. The brain goes somewhere else.
But you're seeing something else.
So I think they're different. I think the brain and the physical you completely different.
So your soul, it's kind of like.
I just think there's a difference between the person and the brain.
For sure.
I think there's a difference. I think your brain can go places the person can. And I think that's probably what psychedelics are.
There's a lot of ways, and that kind of ties into like meditation, because meditation, you go to a different consciousness or a different place.
You reach a different realm of existence.
Yeah.
That
your brain goes
physical. That you say it's almost like you're floating.
Yes.
Your body's gone. It's just your brain, because your body isn't able to handle that, but your brain is so powerful.
And that doesn't even make sense. But like a lot of people
comprehend the power of the brain.
And you do like people, because psychedelics is, I mean, it's not huge, but getting it legalized is kind of huge because people with PTSD and stuff from wars, they take these psychedelics, they go through this experience, and then they come out a better person.
Like war-torn veterans will go to different countries all the time to get psychedelic treatment, and they come back all the time saying how helpful it was. Basically how they lost themselves.
Right. Because it's the ego death, but I don't think it's the ego death. I think it's like the ego reassignment. Reborn. You get to see a different side. You learn different things.
I think with psychedelics, it like physically, like and neurochemically, just rewires your brain, because everything you see right now in respect to the world is relative. Everything is relative.
Well, everything runs through
Nothing is set in stone, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So the psychedelics basically they rewire your brain. Your brain's like, wait, this is not the normal like world I'm used to, right? And it goes crazy, and it's a supercomputer. It's literally a computer, and your eyes are basically like it's reading what your mind is trying to process, right? And it should be the other way around, but fuck it. But really, though, when it comes to psychedelics, it just straight up rewires it, and you lose your connection to the world, because the world is your like zero.
But then do you gain a connection to a new one?
Yeah, or a different form of being.
Because you're still there. You still
sure.
So you're connected to something.
I don't think there is no other, like maybe not. This is maybe not the right word, but like supernatural like ascendance,
dimensions or anything other like that.
I don't really think so.
Really?
Like what happens when you die? That's the best question for that.
We can't perceive that.
Right. But what do you think happened? What's your personal opinion? Or are you just like, what it happens, we'll find out.
I don't think it can be nothing, because
this
isn't impossible in physics or something that something lasts forever. And when they say that it's nothing, well, nothing can't last forever, so it's obviously something. Something happens when you die.
I like to go with this kind of like very like almost what's the word, like unicorn theory, that like when you die you just simply become another observer in the universe, right? You don't have a perception of any of the human senses, time, sight, whatever, but you're just a still observer in the universe now.
But you lose all your senses, like taste, touch, feel.
Exactly. That's what makes it hard to perceive.
Right.
I like that.
Because there's no way we can.
So you
just
join spectator mode, basically. Like if you're playing a game, you die, you join spectator.
Exactly.
I actually had a dream like that where you don't die in very many dreams, but I died in this dream. There was like a tank running down the street, and I was like hiding behind a corner.
So you're Tiananmen Square.
No, I was not. I wasn't standing
but he
in front of the
died.
tank. I was hiding like a bitch. But I was hiding behind this wall, and then like before I know it, I'm just like I gained a whole different perspective, and I looked down at myself like, fuck, I just got shot. Like I didn't feel anything. I just my perspective completely changed. I just remember seeing my dead body there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
could be.
I had a dream like that, but I got shot in the back like 6 times, and then it just faded to black and then white, and then I woke up. It was weird.
Happened? What was that deal with Tiananmen Square? What was that guy thinking?
He was just fucking certified bad, or insane person.
Well,
it was a protest, right?
It was a form of protest.
Yeah. He was just
which is rare. You don't see that a lot in China.
True.
No, you see a lot of them. They just get oppressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It's crazy there that it's so bad in China that they have to put nets up in the factories to
like the Foxconn factory.
It's sad. It really is just.
Yeah, when those are
it just shows the absolute misery of
and that's
citizen.
The Foxconn factory is making our iPhones.
We don't care. We don't
No.
care at all. We can sit here and it'd be like, it's so sad, whatever. We don't do anything about it. We still buy those products.
Yeah, because it's like you can't perceive it. You don't know what it's like to be in that situation.
I don't think that's what it is. I feel like that's what it is. I don't think there's a good enough alternative.
Well, it's like you.
I think if there was a good enough alternative to buying those products, like to buying Apple products, people would. But I don't think there's enough competitiveness.
No,
the thing
sure.
is, China purposely makes their currency. I think it's called the yuan. Very cheap. Super cheap.
Devalue it.
Exactly. So that basically incentivizes other countries like, hey, we want you to be our go-to manufacturer, and that's how China gets their money.
That's the only way they compete with the USA.
Exactly.
The only way.
But unfortunately, that affects the Chinese people in that sense.
It's because it's such like a beautiful country with such amazing.
It is beautiful,
and they have a great people and culture too. It's just really a shame.
Speaking of that, there's a guy on YouTube. Can't remember his name. I'll maybe edit it in. No, I won't. But he goes and he just literally solo travels through a bunch of different foreign countries, and he went through China and he hitchhiked to Beijing, and he was like 500 miles out or something. And he hitchhiked all the way to Beijing, and he doesn't speak any not enough or Mandarin to have a conversation. He just could say like, "I'm going to Beijing." That was it. So he had like a little sign that said what he was doing and why he was getting in your vehicle. But everyone was so polite, so nice. They just wanted to help him out.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are we doing? Why can't...
Americans are nice, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucked up Americans.
It's different. I think we have more of a mental health.
But also, that also ties into the fear-mongering, where you see more stuff on the internet of the negative versus the positive. So seeing that perspective was like, whoa. We have so much negative, but also that could be just...
Do you think there's ever going to be... I'm sure it's close. Do you think there's ever going to be a revolution in China?
I sure as hell hope so.
Because I think that's what COVID was, honestly. I think COVID was purposely released in the Wuhan lab to see how much control they really have. I think they put it out in the public to see how easily they can lock down a city and control the people. I think that's what the whole point of China's government releasing that out in the public was.
They controlled so hard.
Yeah, they completely shut everything down. I think it was just like a test run for them.
Could have been.
But no, I seriously hope so, because it's terrible what's happening.
It is. It really is sad.
Oh yeah.
A lot of places.
Do you think it was a lab leak, or do you think it was some bat that fell in some soup and some guy still ate it?
I think it was. It's hard to say.
It's so hard to say.
It could be viable that it could be just some bat disease and it's just fucking whatever.
The way I look at it though.
But I think it genuinely could, at the rate at which it proliferated, because if we, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they wanted it to spread fast so they can do the experiment quickly.
I don't know. I
don't think it's a coincidence that there was a novel coronavirus lab right next to Wuhan, and then the first initial outbreak was in Wuhan. I don't think
it's weird.
It's
really weird.
That's an eyebrow raiser right
there.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. They did a terrible job covering it up if they had to cover it up. Yeah. I'd say it's like the moon landing for me. It's like I have no fucking idea. I'm 50-50. Right. 50-50 on both. So I can argue both sides. So I don't really know.
What's an atom?
An atom?
What's an atom? Because people say, well, it's the building block of life, but
everything is atoms, correct?
Everything
is built out of,
because you can sub-sectionalize atoms into quarks. So then why aren't quarks the building blocks of life?
True, I guess.
And what is a quark made of?
Bosons and they're called elementary particles.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it like love and that's what the quarks are called?
Oh, there's the quarks are up, down, charm, strange.
Yeah, charms. Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's two more. There's 6 quarks.
I'm pretty sure one is love, but I could be
I'm pretty sure you're thinking of charm.
Yeah. But what are those? We never hear about quarks. And what are quarks made of? If atoms are made of quarks and quarks are made of, I honestly have no idea. That's as far as my knowledge goes. Isn't there a God particle that they say they found?
Yeah, wasn't there a God particle?
I swear, like a couple
With
years ago.
what's it called? The Hadron Collider?
I'm not for sure. Those are crazy though.
That's where they found the God particle, I think. I could be wrong. Most of this shit we could be wrong on. Except for him. He's most likely right.
I'm not familiar with this God particle, but there's actually a U of I paper on this, funny enough. Like from the U of I. There is something called strange matter.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Where it is derived from the strange quark, one of the subatomic particles that comprise of, the neutron, electron, and proton are all made up of up and down quarks and some combination of them. But the strange quark is at such a quote unquote perfect state of stability.
Really?
Because everything in the universe wants to go to its lowest energy state possible, right?
Isn't that called
entropy?
Yes, fucking entropy, dude. Entropy is wild. That's where the Boltzmann brain
Exactly.
comes from.
And everything wants to be at its lowest energy state as possible, right? Because like when you stand up, you're like, I feel tired, I want to lay down. And now you're in a lower energy state. That's
the easiest way to maintain a longevity.
Conserve and build up as much energy as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, I think, what the strange quark does. It's at such a low energy state.
Is that what the difference between strange matter and normal matter is? That strange matter is better at conserving energy?
Exactly. And normal matter sees it. It's like, I want to be like that. So it basically assimilates into that.
Oh, really? Strange matter will
it's like almost like cancer.
It will change normal matter? Like,
okay.
Overwhelm normal matter?
So like, this was like strange matter. Now that entire desk is expo everything that is
matter.
Touching this, literally
that's
entire.
Insane. So then everything just becomes strange matter in an instant. And there could be a
massive,
not instantly, but very like light speed.
We'd have no chance to stop it.
Nope.
Then what's containing it currently? Because it exists and we know it exists. So what's stopping it from doing that right now? Is there normal matter that's kind of
it theoretically exists?
Oh, okay.
Right. There is no hard proof we have a strange quark in a lab.
Yeah.
Right.
But that could be what does
but
it.
As soon
as we get that,
the thing is, the only conditions possible, maybe for a strange quark, is in a neutron star.
Okay.
Very dense motherfucker.
We can't come up with those conditions on Earth.
Unfortunately, not.
No. That would completely collapse Earth.
Unless you want to get the average 600-pound American and put it under a starving child, then maybe. No, I'm kidding. But the conditions are it's unbelievably extreme in a neutron star.
So this is just theory.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
That's everything. Everything's just theory.
Right.
That's that is theory though. I love shit like that.
It's weird because
breaking everything.
I get lost in my own head and I'm like, why is math the way it is? It's just something can you 100% prove that it's correct?
And
yes, there's literally a book. There's a book, like a whole ass book. I think there's a 40-page proof that 1 + 1 = 2.
1 + 1 actually equals bigger one in North Korea.
Bigger one.
No, that's what it is. Because if you get a raindrop and then you add another raindrop, it's just a bigger raindrop. 1 + 1 = bigger one. Now test it. Test it with a water bottle.
And now here's the thing. What's the invariant property in that raindrop?
Dude, I have no idea.
Got him.
0 + 0 = smaller 0.
It's because I get stuck on that. How the hell is that right? How is that right?
It's relative. We've just agreed.
It is relative. That's what I don't get. Everything is relative.
Money has no value.
Correct.
The only value money has
is the value we give it.
Everything is relative.
Hey, stop valuing our money. Let's crash all the markets. Let's crash everything. Money's worthless.
Didn't the stock market go up?
You guys gotta realize
it went up a lot.
Crazy amount. Was it?
We should have invested. We should have invested. We should have saw.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I should have bet on Trump.
2,000 on a parlay for Trump.
Good man.
Let's go. I was thinking about it.
I was gonna bet Kamala. I really thought Kamala was gonna win.
You would have got a crazy payout.
Yeah, I didn't think she was gonna win. I really thought she was gonna. I didn't hope she was gonna win. I really thought she was gonna win.
Yeah, I really do like seeing the crash. Even though I'm not a very politically
seeing liberal freak out videos.
It's like, dude,
those are great.
I know.
A little shout out. There might be a little some coming up to that on the Just Living podcast.
There might be.
Maybe just a little some.
It's gonna be goof as hell.
Are you gonna get Kamala as a special guest?
That would be awesome.
Oh, that would be so sweet. We're working on it. See, this is part of us having you on. Is part of us building to get bigger and bigger guests on.
If we can get one of those professors on and talk about this stuff,
so awesome.
Yeah. No.
What's another cool theory?
Oh, string theory.
Oh god.
Because I actually wrote 432 hertz to remind me because I knew I would forget.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because isn't that interesting? What's really interesting, I don't really understand it because I haven't looked at it at all, but I've heard about it, is everything has a frequency. Everything.
Resonant frequency.
That's, yeah.
So
like the walls are producing some sort of vibration, correct?
Well, the vibration is just atoms moving. Like if you touch the wall, that's
But like
no.
It's just
So the thing is, everything is moving.
Mhm.
Right.
The only thing that is not moving is when it is at absolute zero. And even in the universe, it is. I don't think there's any pocket in the universe where it really truly is absolute zero.
Right.
Everything has energy, therefore it vibrates. Now there is a phenomenon called resonant frequency, and you can really observe that in give me that sheet of paper real quick on there. So right, if I just like, there is some frequency where I could shake this out where it will So you see how it's like when I'm here it goes here and then here and
right.
oscillates basically perfectly. This is a terrible example, but the point is resonant frequency occurs when every material has its resonant frequency, and when you basically hit that material with its resonant frequency, it will match it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very big problem in bridges. Because suspension bridges,
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it,
yes,
but there was a giant windstorm or gust that hit a bridge at the right like angle, time, conditions, everything.
It made the
and it hit it at resonant frequency, and it started oscillating like fucking crazy. Like it's not just like a little bit. I'm talking like 45-degree like torsion twists, and of course it failed. Right. And that's a legitimate concern. And this also happens in skyscrapers. Like if you have. There's this really cool experiment. If you have a really long, like standing up spring, and it's like not like a super tight, strong spring, it doesn't take that much like oscillation, like frequency to like make it go at its resonance frequency. But say take like a really short one that's like pretty strong and like short and stubby. You have to shake it pretty fast to match its resonant frequency. There's some math behind it, but that's just resonant frequency. That's like an actual like natural phenomenon. But when it comes to what was this thing to again? String theory. Right?
Yes.
So there are two theories in physics. There is the macro physics, the big stuff, like how fast does this marker fall, or like what's the weight of that door or this building, and then there's quantum physics, really, really, really tiny stuff, microphysics. And it's just like, what's the behavior at this? It's like this temperature.
The power of 10. You go both ways.
It is magnitudes.
Right.
Like in difference. It's absurd. But there was one theory for quantum. There's one theory for big stuff, but there's no one theory uniting the two. And there's this candidate called string theory, also commonly referred to as the God equation, basically unifying those two theories into one. So we can define everything under one theory and it all works well. And what string theory is not, everything is not made out of like atoms or subatomic particles, but rather literal fucking strings at very, very tiny lengths. I think it's supposedly like the Planck length, that's how long they are. The Planck length is like the smallest theoretical like distance you can have. And essentially, if I have a string that waves like this at some frequency, that's helium. If it waves like this in this orientation at this speed, it's hydrogen. If there's two of them, I make like argon, whatever, right? And basically they're saying like everything is made out of these little fucking strings, and supposedly they vibrate, and there's supposedly 14 different dimensions they could be in. I don't even know. Like string theory is.
Yeah, I watched a video on it, so I basically know everything.
Silly. So when I put my hand against this wall, right? What's causing it to not go through?
That is
the atoms colliding, right?
Yes.
So if I do this, say, infinite amount of times in some relative space,
theoretically,
is there ever gonna be
there's
it goes through
diabolically low chance.
But if I do this enough,
it will go through.
Amount of time, it will go through.
Is
that how you get to the back rooms?
It is a stupidly low chance.
But it's still a chance.
There's a chance.
It's never zero.
But it's such a low chance that it is considered like it will take you an eternal amount of time.
I remember hearing about that, and I remember hearing about
if you put a monkey in a room in a typewriter. And
how he'll write out like Shakespeare.
Yeah, maybe he'll write like the full script for the first ever Hawk Tuah podcast. First.
Oh my god!
Shut the fuck up,
dude. People used to comment. There was people commenting on this podcast about the Hawk Tuah. Like, this is better than Hawk 2. And I was like, dude, that's kind of a diss.
So you're a smart guy. You could go out there and teach the world. But Haley Welch, or whatever the fuck her name is, gets to be famous and have millions of dollars because she sucks dick.
True.
That's so stupid.
It is stupid. forgot what I was gonna say.
Give me enough time, and I'll hopefully pass her net worth.
Hopefully. We'll work on it.
We can kill her.
Oh my! Whoa!
Speed run.
Whoa!
I'm joking.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely joking.
But the frequency, because there are people out there that say that a certain frequency of music or sound is healing to the body.
Like the brown noise.
Kind of, yeah. So at a certain frequency, so like most music is at like 472 or something. And it changed. It changed. At some point in history, they changed from 432, which was originally what everything was played at, to 4 whatever.
Depends on the scaling. For some reason, I have some knowledge in music theory because I am a loser. So I think when it comes to music, things that sound nice to us is at some frequency that's proportional to the power of root 2. This is also equal to 1.414 approximately. Why do I know that? I use this so much that I just remember the fucking number. It's awful. But say like I think the sound of a note like that. Mm-hmm. That's A is like 2 to the power of 10 square root some bullshit.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
My theory on music is that all music is a way to relay emotions. All songs have most real music, most real songs, their main goal is to portray a certain emotion to make you feel, okay?
Absolutely.
So, do these certain numbers correlate to a certain emotion?
Not necessarily. The brain, for some reason, just really likes hearing things that are proportional.
So would that not correlate then with a dopamine? Then would that not correlate with a happy feeling?
It depends on how the feeling doesn't come from the individual note,
also,
but a series of notes.
But it comes from the frequency, right? With the noise you're hearing, and you can relate the noise you're hearing to a number. So that means these are
Yes, no, I agree. So some combination of notes will result in a happy feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can correlate those some form
to
to a number. Can you not? So then
within here there is some pattern that you see. Like if you listen to say you really like hard rock and you hear that one pattern, it makes you happy. Or if you listen to really sad piano music and you hear that one chord or that this note series or the etude or whatever, you're sad, right? Yeah. And yes, I think there is a pattern. I don't think individually the notes hold anything. They have to work together to produce that message.
Synchronize with something else.
Because if I write the letter A, you don't know what that means.
You're not gonna feel nothing.
If I write cat, well, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, there's a difference between note and music though. Lots of notes make music. So of course that's true. So it's gotta be a pattern.
There's also an interpretation, human interpretation factor, right?
True. Everyone,
because someone might see this as happy,
right? Exactly.
Well, someone else sees it as sad, right?
That's just the human brain working in multiple different ways.
Exactly.
So then there's no way that you can say that it's a certain number.
There is no way that this pattern universally is happy.
Yeah.
Right? But that pattern gets processed within our brains and we're like, hey, this is happy. Be happy.
I just think that's weird. That's kind of cool.
It really is cool because the purpose of music was to
convey emotions.
Exactly. And it's a great medium
it's
for conveying
literally
culture.
Like a drug.
It is.
You listen to it and you feel a certain way. You get hyped. You go to the gym and you listen to a certain type of music. It makes you fucking...
Exactly.
I don't want to
talk to a podcast.
Get out of here with that bullshit.
No, music theory is hella cool though.
It really
it is.
It's
so is there
crazy complicated.
Is there
it is
certain
so
notes
complicated
that correlate with certain numbers though? Because that I feel like that would go with how in binary.
And then certain numbers together
how
can
in binary
equal.
Codes are just 1 0 0 and that's conveying something.
Right.
Maybe that in our brains is certain notes.
A certain number.
Patterns correlate with certain numbers, and that's just conveying something in our mind.
I mean that makes sense to
It's
someone who's ignorant. But
could be.
That's where we have to go to the professors.
Yes.
Is there a music theory professor?
Yes.
Probably.
I'm sure there's one.
There is, yeah.
I can assure you.
Cool music theory. Cool theory.
Right.
Music theory gets heinously complicated.
It is
really weird.
Have you ever seen the graph of it,
Mm-mm.
or an
Circle of
image?
Fifths.
Yes.
Circle of
yeah,
Fifths.
it's fucking
That's cool.
nuts.
Circle of fifths is really cool because if you put in a square, you get a like a dominant seventh or a suspended seventh. If you put in this triangle, you get a major chord. If you put in this triangle, you get a diminished minor chord or whatever. And that's just the basics. That's
right,
like first year music days. Like then you get into like Dorian scales, chromatic is whatever, but like.
But does it all just boil down to trying to convey some form of emotion?
Yeah, exactly. That's its purpose.
Yeah, that's.
It's trying to send a message without saying any words.
Yeah,
that's really it.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. Music's dope as hell.
Music is dope. Rap is not real music.
Yeah, it is.
I think some of the beats that the producers.
Yes, some
they're
of the,
cool.
like some of the mumble rap, like they sound cool. Some of that mumble rap, that shit ain't music.
That's where I don't.
I mean, hey, if it's a way for them to express themselves.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's an
because mumble
art.
rap could give people the emotion of happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if it's it's whatever. It's down to the
because
person.
everyone sees it differently.
Let people enjoy what they want to enjoy.
Correct.
Like I'm not a fan of country, but you might be a big fan of
Fuck
country.
no, I'm not. But.
But my point. My point still stands.
Yes. Dude, what the?
I am a dramatic sneezer.
That's crazy. It like rumbles the room, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for real? I was like, the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It was a rocket blowing up.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. He showed us a little bit of this facility.
It's a cool facility.
Yeah. I really hope there's not like a professor out there that heard basically our entire conference. He's like, yeah, you're banned from here. I don't think so.
Scholarship revoked.
That'd be would
if they boot me, they have to replace a pretty important position. So,
dude, what a flex. No, it's
fine.
fine.
What is your position like? What do you make explosives? How far can you delve into that?
Oh yeah, I could tell you. Well, no, honestly, too much about it.
I think this should have been the first thing that we talked about.
It's fine though.
So
no, it's fine.
I'm on the Illinois Space Society sub-team or technical project called Solid Propulsion, and basically we make rocket propellant with solid things like things that are solid.
Can I interrupt real fast? I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it true that there was a guy that made fuel out of water in his car and then the guy
True.
killed him?
That's.
Yeah, tell me.
Is that theoretically possible
Right.
to make a car that
Well,
can
yeah.
run on water as fuel?
Yeah,
I guess I think you just I think it's very simple. I think you just run it through an electrolysis
Don't
process.
do it. The government will kill you.
So be it. I don't care.
You just say you're not suicidal.
He can't. He's
I'm
an
not.
engineering major.
I think you just run it through electrolysis, get the hydrogen, and use the hydrogen as the gas or whatever the fuck. Anyways, I'm on the solid propulsion team. I am the safety officer for the team, meaning that
Lame. So you're a narc.
everything new, especially in terms of manufacturing.
Does that run through OSHA, or is it just a completely
I am
different?
OSHA.
Okay.
Bitch.
And it's also through DRS, which is the student organization safety faculty, actual faculty on campus. But I run just the club safety, hey, can we do this? Yeah, let's not do that. Let's do this instead. Hey, let's implement this procedure so less members get affected by this.
You seem like a good person for that because you seem pretty laid back. You seem like you let pretty much everything fly unless it was extreme.
Yeah, no. I let things fly if you give me a reason.
Yeah.
Right? One of my I guess teammates asked me hey, have you considered doing this? And I was like, that's a good idea. Let's do it. Let's put it on the budget and then we'll just send it through. And then another team was like, hey, we should do this instead of this method. I'm like, that's not really good because A, it's inefficient and plus it poses a risk for the members, right? I am willing to listen, and that's my job is to listen to people,
They
right?
gotta convince you.
Because they tell me, hey, this is unsafe, fix it. Hey, this is something we gotta work on, do something about it. Hey, how about this suggestion? What are your thoughts about it, right? Basically, I serve as kind of the filter and the gate, right, between ideas and implementation. So right now we're working with sugar motors, literal sugar motors.
Motors that run on sugar.
Yes. You mix sugar with an oxidizer and then bam, that's a sugar motor.
Okay.
But now we're transitioning into something that is more industrial, something that you see in industry a lot. It's something called... probably for your guys' sake and for everyone watching, I don't want you to make this at home. It's the same stuff that basically made NASA rockets fly. It's very strong. And because of that, it is incredibly dangerous to handle. I'm talking if you look at it funny, it'll go off, and I'm serious. It is. If you hit it maybe that hard, it'll go off.
Can you implement with a funny look? at this thing? Like, what's that?
Can you give us an example?
What's that one look that you just don't?
Like, look at this fucking loser. Then it's just going to explode.
Yeah, you talk shit to. You better watch your back.
It's angry.
It stands on business is what
it does, yeah.
It's an angry ball of death. Because it's shock sensitive both electrically and like physically, right? So if you just like, that might set it off.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Like, you have to respect it. And you cannot expose it to water because that will also make it go off. Any heat.
And that's why you were saying you wouldn't want to have windows open.
Where do you keep it? Just a vacuum?
Yeah.
It is in a lab, but I cannot disclose that.
Okay, well, no, I wasn't asking the address. Like, what are the conditions?
How do you store
it?
it?
What are the conditions of where you keep it?
In a static proof bag that is suspended in a shock absorbing material, so like packing peanuts, so it doesn't like hit the ground really hard.
Right.
Inside of an ammo can that is airtight.
Now give me the address so I can go steal it.
No.
Good
luck finding it.
Yeah.
It cool. Yeah, but it's really nothing you should mess around with.
Yeah.
But it is incredibly powerful, and that's like our next big hurdle. Because right now we're just working on sugar motors, and our long-term goal is to work with our high-powered rocketry team, Space Shot. You saw those rockets up there. Mm-hmm. Right now they use something called COTS motors, commercially off the shelf, right? And you can only get those to be so powerful, right? Because the bigger you go, they get more expensive, and plus B, we're just students.
Yeah.
So we're basically just like regular customers, and we can't really buy the big stuff, right? So what we're thinking is, okay, if we can get through with this, we can manufacture these grains for a high-powered rocketry team in-house. So that way, they don't have to buy the grains.
And they can't stop you.
Well, they can't stop us because they already got approval at that point.
Right.
And we can
so it
basically
opens up the doors to a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. And we can custom make it to whatever requirement they need. And plus, it's just overall better to make it in-house because you have that flexibility, right? Because right now, our team works in the far unlimited category, meaning that there is no like altitude limit. I think we got placed second last competition. It was at 43,000 feet in the air. That's how high we went. It's pretty high. And I think the Kármán line is, I should know this, like a fucking 100 kilometers up in altitude. It's pretty high. But yeah, so we're just hoping that hopefully, we get faculty endorse us, we go through with like the safety guys, like, hey, not me, the safety guys, but like the actual safety guys at the university, like, hey, we're doing this is our process, this is how we're gonna
you get approved.
Entire procedure, exactly.
Seems like a big leap to me, going from sugar motor to giant rocket fuel.
Yeah, I mean, because it's something this was in the works for I think 5 years, and I'm just the continuation of that legacy.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
so cool.
Really hoping that this year it's looking really promising that we get through with it.
So what do you guys plan to do with it?
Yeah,
after you get approved, like what's the next steps?
Start manufacturing an easy, like I'm talking like the size of this bottle cap amounts. Because I shit you not, because it's also friction sensitive. You rub it hard enough, bam.
Dead.
And it's not like a very slow burn. It's
spontaneous.
Instant. Like with our sugar motors, I think we had 3 pounds of the motor. And it all burned in 4 seconds.
Wow.
All of it.
Well, sugar burns quick.
That's what what the theoretical burn time was? 2.4 seconds.
Wow.
Very fast. And the propellant we're working with is 6 times stronger. So it's definitely not to be messed around with. Yeah, so...
Does that ever make you... Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It scares
That's good, though.
Yeah,
That's
no,
good.
you need to be scared.
Because you're going to be careful with it.
Exactly, because I am responsible for something called the the propellant Bible. And basically, I work on the safety portion. Right? Everyone has to wear this PPE, personal protective equipment. Yep. Everyone has to do this process. Everyone has to do this process. If this happens, call this number. If this happens, do this. If that happens, that do this. I basically account for what can go wrong and what can we do to avoid it, and what to do if it goes wrong. Of course, our primary objective is to
not let it go wrong.
Exactly. We want to make that risk into a hazard. The difference between a risk and a hazard is risk is something that you can't do anything about. But then a hazard is something you can do something about, and that is harmful to human health. So my responsibility is basically to mitigate those risks into hazards, and also to mitigate those hazards, right? And of course, by human nature, there's always going to be a mistake or two, and that's why I have those procedures. Like if this happens,
that's why your spot exists in the first place.
Exactly. And funny enough, it's really funny how they chose me as a safety officer, considering I'd.
Did they just go off
Very
and find like the most Asian-looking guy they could?
No, I was on the team for a year now, and I work with manufacturing. That's we work with like the actual dangerous stuff. And funny enough, I actually do make my own rocket motors at home. And I find it funny. I make this joke that they chose me as a safety officer because I had firsthand experience of dealing with the motor grain going off in my face. Because story time. I was making a very small experimental batch in my basement. I did it in my basement because it was a very small batch, right? So I was just like, whatever. Normally I do everything outside, like in my backyard. And I don't know what happened, but I think my hot plate that I used to like melt the propellant got really hot like instantly because it's induction, and induction gets hot fast. It's unbelievable. And next thing you know, I hear a sizzle. I'm like, that's not right. And literally a quarter of a second after that, it ignites. This little spot on my wrist right here, it's kind of hard to tell.
You can see.
Yeah. It looks like the shape. There's no hair. There's no hair there.
There's no hair, and it's like the shape of Africa.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know why. I just think it's kind of funny. Yeah, that's my burn mark. I was wearing nitrile gloves, like those chemistry gloves. So I got really lucky it didn't directly get on me.
Yeah.
And I was wearing long sleeves, long pants. That's just, I don't want to get
normal safety.
Yeah, exactly. You need
I don't
to
want to get hot ass propellant on me.
Right.
The fuck. And I got some on my leg, but it wasn't propellant that was like lit. It was just the actual molten propellant. Okay. So I was really lucky on that. It's incredible I came out unscathed. And since then, I've indefinitely put off manufacturing my own grains for reasons.
For reasons.
Exactly. And basically, I like to go by like, these safety regulations that I made exist because, the whole OSHA thing, like these rules are written in blood.
Yes.
Yeah. I go by that.
Yeah.
I wrote these rules because I written them in my own blood.
Right. Yeah. You experienced it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's got to be like a fine line between you can't let fear override everything.
Exactly.
True.
You got to realize that there's always going to be some sort of risk, and
like I said,
the risks are always going to be scary.
There always will be a risk in hazard.
Yeah.
Always. There's no way you can mitigate it in any way, shape, or form, like completely. There's always going to be something. But my job is to put everyone's mind at ease as much as possible through the making of procedures and such. And that's my job, right? Because we have a really big team. Our team size doubled this year for manufacturing.
Is that good?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It's good.
Is it quality over quantity, you'd say?
Yes.
Okay.
Because having a lot of team members means that like if we need to call like a meeting real quick, we have a bunch of members on standby that we can call.
Well, you've got disposable members too.
No.
You can use them for like the real risk.
Exactly.
No. But also because you have so many people, we have a pretty small workstation. Crowding gets a little in the way, and the very first time we made grains this semester, there were so many people that got crowded, and like we were very inefficient. It was very slow. So with the molten propellant, we put it into like basically a cardboard tube to cast it, and that process was really slow because after we poured in the cardboard tube, we put in a vacuum chamber to pull a vacuum out to get all the air bubbles out. But because we were so slow on it, it was already hardening, so we couldn't pull a vacuum on it. So we had to basically improvise, make 2 stations, make dedicated little teams. Like you're part of the melting squad, you're part of the mixing squad, you're part of the casting squad, right? And it's much more streamlined now, but there are benefits and downsides.
I'd say it's always better to have too many than too less. Though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because the number, so I think we have 17 manufacturing members, and only 4 of us, including myself, are actual senior members, meaning that we've been in the organization for more than a year. And when it comes to manufacturing this new propellant, I'm letting no one make it besides me, my team lead, my project lead, and maybe the senior members.
Just to minimize that risk.
Yes, because the where we're making it is incredibly small. It's
that's smart.
Yeah.
And it's the size of this room, but take that door, extend it all the way here, and then just cut it away. So this is
So
everything
about from that box to me. Almost.
The edge of this table to this wall.
Yeah.
It's a very small space, and we don't want to put like 5 people in there. We're putting 3 at most.
Yeah.
So, and because this is so dangerous, I don't want to put any of the new members at risk because they're, I don't want to say inexperienced, but
Easier
to an extent they are. But because the senior members,
they're a hazard. They're a hazard, and you got to mitigate them.
well, they're not a hazard, but a liability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want them to get hurt.
Yeah.
If anyone is gonna get hurt, it's gonna be me or the leads. Not that I'm saying like we will get hurt, but
If
we
you want it to be
prioritize.
anybody.
Exactly, right? Because I trust the senior members more because they've seen the evolution of solid propulsion and what is good, what is bad, what works, what doesn't. And basically having that knowledge and exposure, because I've built a longer trust with them because I've known them longer.
Right.
That
Better
5%.
chemistry.
Exactly. So I know
More trust in them.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about trust. It's
Yeah.
not that I trust my new members, but I trust my senior members more than the newer members.
That's completely fair.
That's rational.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
100%.
That's a good leadership choice. It's a great
100%.
leadership choice.
And I'm not saying like this is an exclusive thing. I want them to be comfortable making this new propellant, and that's why me and the senior members are going to train them like, hey, this is how you
There's
do this.
steps you got to take first.
Exactly, because I want to first initiate them into just sugar motors because it's like relatively tame in comparison to the new stuff we're working with. But I'm not saying they're stuck there. I am extending that opportunity to them. But as of now, because this new propellant, era is still in its very infancy or infant stage, right? It's in its infancy. Like anything could go wrong.
Basically, it's like having a newborn baby. When you have a newborn baby, you don't let just like anybody hold it. You let the people you trust the most.
Exactly,
As
like-
the baby grows up and gets like
introduce them more to the family.
You let your friends hold it. You let more
Exactly.
distant family hold it. But when it's just that newborn baby, it's just like it's mom and dad.
Exactly. No, that's exactly. But that's an amazing comparison. It's exactly wow. It's exactly like that. I'm fucking dying over here.
It is hot.
What are your plans for the future? Like, where do you see yourself
Yeah.
in 5-10 years?
I hope to specialize in manufacturing in the aerospace industry, so such as like making fabricating components and potentially doing structural work and analysis. Make sure hey, if I put this on top of this, will it snap in half? Kind of deal, right? And just manufacturing in general, because manufacturing is just fun as shit. I'm sure you know, welding is great.
Welding's great. Machining, great.
It's really fun, and manufacturing is something that just cannot get replaced.
Right.
How do I go from nothing to a rocket if I don't make something?
But that is also where AI comes in. Does that scare you anymore? Any in your field?
AI is not coming for those jobs anytime soon. AI is gonna take the market jobs, not the market jobs, the commerce jobs. They're gonna take the accountants. They're gonna take all those jobs long before they take the physical blue collar.
Well, true, yeah, but running a factory better.
Yeah.
The most efficient way.
They're more there for logistical.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe not the actual manpower.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe in the very distant future,
I know.
all these machines do all this stuff, right? Because there's already welding machines.
Yes.
Those are just CNC. You just
Right.
put in a thing and it's just.
Yeah, it can't do field work.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about AI. In fact, I'm actually looking forward to the use
Yes.
of AI as a tool. Just hey,
Same.
can you run the calculation on this? Because
It's fun to play with.
yeah,
It is fun. There's
a thing in my structures class called a generalized Hooke's law, and it's something called a matrix, and it looks like a tic-tac-toe grid, but instead of a 3x3, it's a 9x9, and all of those individual numbers in that 9x9 do something, and you cannot ignore them. And filling that by hand is awful. Not that I've done it, but it looks awful. I do not want to do that. And that's where AI comes out.
Right.
Fucking eat this
Just
and
do
give me
it.
the result.
Yeah. Well, sweet. It's really fucking hot in here.
It is. I told you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I took off my hoodie. So.
Yeah. No, I'm dying a little bit, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it's been a great little podcast.
It has.
Yeah.
Hell, dude. Fucking cool shit. Just get
Yeah, it's so cool. Well, we appreciate you so much for coming on and talking to us.
Yeah, no problem. Though. It was
This was
great
awesome.
talking to you.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable.
We'd probably have you on again if
Refer
you
us
get.
to your friends and your professors.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but if you do make a leap that you want to talk about anything,
really.
Sure.
because
And
we're
even-
not
even-
huge or anything, but
Even if it's just a quick thing, we could do a Zoom call and we can somehow set that up and you could describe it there. Just anything you ever want to talk about, dude.
we want to
Sure.
build relationships and keep building and building and building. Make this something.
Exactly. Talk to those two professors I mentioned if you want to learn about more quantum stuff. If you
Are we good to say we were referred by you?
probably,
Okay.
yeah, just go easy on like the other jokes.
Yeah.
Take it
That's
more
definitely
serious.
more like a
Yeah.
professional setting.
Yeah, no, because I'm very relaxed.
Well, I want to get like John on first.
That'd be funny.
That'd be a lot of fun.
If you, so I realized that you were really into like these other like theories and stuff. You know, like the whole thing of consciousness. You know, not in a negative connotation, but conspiracy theories.
Yeah, no, that's what I do consider myself.
I
a
do have a
conspiracy
buddy who's a big advocate of that. He loves them. He's
Really?
great. Yes, I can refer him to you guys if you guys want.
Oh,
That'd be great.
hell
Of
yeah.
course.
Because he's
yeah.
also like a big time stoner too.
Hell
So
yeah.
Even better.
He yammers a lot. He's really fun to talk to.
What did you say he was?
His name is Titus Payne.
Titus? His name's Titus?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him first if he's okay with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he can be a little camera shy at times, but at the same time, I don't think he is.
I think
99%.
Everyone's
everyone's a tiny bit
Yeah,
nervous
for
at the start.
sure.
Like, once
He's
the
a very
conversation-
outgoing guy. I'll reach out to him, see if he is interested.
Perfect.
Then I will give you his number.
That would be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Really appreciate that.
I'll probably need to get heading out.
Yeah,
now
we'll
because-
wrap this up. You've got assignments.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be fine.
He's
Well,
him.
He is him. But thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no,
so
for sure.
much.
It was great talking. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
of course. And yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Make sure to
Peace.
like.
And subscribe.